Good evening, survivors of the Kamala Harris interview. Just checking in to see what you all have to discuss about this. It shouldn't have been called an interview. So, my first impression of Kamala Harris and Tim Walls's, uh, which is her crutch appearance tonight, have continued watching old clips of Kamala on YouTube, going over what she actually did from her previous years instead of watching her go over her list of things that she wished that people would believe about her. It interrupted my night, with her going through these CNN softball mockumentary they produced of her as a side thought, to try to include Tim Walls in some of the questions. Well, what about you? Dana Bash, was it? Dana Bash? Ridiculous. Yeah, all we got tonight was a generalized and scripted summary of her list of what she wants us to believe about her. And it's all contradictions, what she's done, the things that we can see, and what is proven to come from her policies or her actions. We have a lot of things to refer to there. She hasn't told us anything new, though. We can see what she's produced so far. And it was basically just sprinkled with platitudes, weak slogans, trying to get something, some kind of buzzword or cliche going, about her campaign. But we learned nothing new. CNN, of course, went on and on after the movie ended. They tried to evaluate how she held up or how she presented herself, and it was just useless blather and stroking of her ego. And she tried to present something, but it was just ego stroking for her. And the fact that she had to make some kind of public appearance, she was really, really coached, and you could tell that she was instructed not to laugh. And they probably had to edit a lot of that out. And seeing as how they had full reign to edit whatever they needed to edit out, she couldn't help it. She couldn't help it somewhere along the way. So the editing floor was covered. Well, that's how they used to do it. Digital's quite different. So I had training a long time ago where you would actually trim tape. So those were the fun days. We don't deserve to have less than the best person that's available in the office of the presidency right now, because we are in trouble from her policies, from Joe Biden's policies, from the current administration. She seems to try to overlook the fact that she is in office right now. Of course, we know she's in office right now. She tends to want everybody to forget that fact. In fact, she tries to act like she hasn't been vice president at all and couldn't go in tomorrow and do some of the things that she tries to talk about what she's going to do on day one, when she gets into office. Dear, you're in office. And we all, do they honestly think that we don't know that? I mean, we're just going to say, oh, well, even though she's vice president right now, she's not president. It'll be brand new. No. It won't. She's directly involved with creating the economy we have right now, the horrific economy we have right now, and due to get worse if she stays anywhere near the White House. The housing market, transportation, high gas prices lumped together there could be solved very, very quickly, and Donald Trump knows how. She should have learned from him. She could go propose things tomorrow that could help in that direction, but she won't, because she'll say that she would believe that, or, you know, not be totally for pushing EVs, and, would tap into some of our natural resources to ease our economy and what we're going through right now, but she won't. She'll say she will when she's president, and then she won't. She won't actually do it. And of course, the border crisis, totally in her lap. Um, and along with the border crisis, now we've heard that rumblings from the WHO, they're really trying desperately to cook up another epidemic for us, a pandemic or something. Monkeypox is coming. They're really trying hard to make it a viable problem uh, for the election. So keep an eye on it. Uh, the WHO's been pushing to have control over countries, and including the United States, should another pandemic occur that we just experienced. So they want to have control of our country and what we do uh, as an unelected official body, governing body. How do you feel about that? Kamala wouldn't stop that. Donald Trump wouldn't have that. That's the kind of thinking we need in our nation's capital. It's somebody that will protect our nation from outside influences, people that have no business telling us what to do, people that are in an organization that thinks that they can control our country under certain circumstances and that we should let them do it. Somebody that doesn't even live here. I'm starting to get a headache, I think, thinking about this. Or maybe my bun's too tight. But the biggest epidemic of all is already here. Um, if you haven't noticed, in every state, we're going through a major crisis, a huge illness, the biggest pandemic, without a cure that I can even think of, and it's called illegal drugs coming across the border. People are dying daily. It's the most insidious illness that could be stopped. The cure is closing the border. The cure is getting a handle on the sources of the disease. Kamala doesn't care about your child, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your neighbor, your best friend, somebody you don't even know. Kamala does not care about those people who will succumb to the disease of addiction and the disease of the pandemic that she is causing. Now, I call upon everyone to start using their brain about this woman. I don't care that she's black. I don't care that she's a woman. And she actually knows it and acknowledges it. I could give a rat's ass What I want in the presidency of the United States is someone who's going to protect our nation. It's going to protect you. It's going to protect me. It's going to protect my family. It's going to protect your family. And I don't care what background you are, what religion, whatever. If you're a citizen of the United States, you deserve protection. You deserve recognition. You deserve to live in a country that cares about whether drugs are pouring in, human traffickers are pouring in, people that'll take over your apartment building and run you out at gunpoint. I want you to care about who you put in the office that'll protect you from them. It's not Kamala Harris. Donald Trump stood in front of 20, 15, 20,000 people. I don't know what the count was in the state that he was at when someone tried to murder him. In front of it was being broadcast live. The people that arranged this wanted you to watch him be assigned live. They wanted the humiliation and the shock and their message. If you know you're anything like Donald Trump, this could happen to you too. I'm a little angry. I'll have to admit, I'm just a little bit angry tonight, simply because they did not even they said, "Oh, Donald Trump's a threat to democracy." They don't give a shit about your democracy. They don't give a shit about it at all. If they did, they wouldn't have circumvented it. They wouldn't have put Kamala Harris in to run for the position of the presidency of the United States that she does not deserve to have. She did not get one vote. I'm sure you've heard it from 1,000 other people and 1,000 other tweets and, 1,000 other commentators, whatever, but it deserves mentioning every chance you get, and especially to people who say they're going to vote for Kamala. But why? Did you vote for her in the primary? Who else did? They didn't. How'd she get there? She was not nominated. She actually committed fraud when she stood on the stage and accepted a nomination to run for the presidency of the United States. She was not nominated. So if you got something out of her speech tonight, I would love to hear in the comment section below what exactly that was. Because I didn't find anything in the speech that was worth more than it was a big infomercial. Basically, that's what it was worth. It was worth an infomercial to her. It was not an interview. It was not it was what they run for people whenever they, perhaps are in the Olympics and they give some kind of biography, short little mini movie about them and talk about them and take some certain talking points and point that out. That's basically what she got. And there's things that I wanted to hear about, especially when it comes to things that affect all of us. Um, and a few things that don't affect all of us, but it will eventually. Social Security, for instance. There's a lot of things that are concerning people besides the big five, economy, food, gas, all that. Um, Other things, that are very important to our survival. And Social Security is very important to many seniors. And we would like to hear her positions on that in depth. But all we got was skimming over the top and platitudes. there was nothing in depth that she explained, except for we got just a little bit, a little bit more information about something that doesn't affect a lot of people, which was the child credit. Now that affects people that have children, but they're being extremely effective in children before they get born. So abortion's taking that, the birth rate is way down. So there's a lot less children that are American citizens that are dependent, the family is dependent on some kind of break just because they have children. The people that do have a lot of children that aren't quite citizens yet just might be the ones that she's looking out for yet again. So it'd be worth looking into some statistics along the lines just exactly how this child tax credit is going to help citizens, and well, how are they going to use that for non-citizens? She seemed to be fairly interested in a few details on that, but nothing else, like our Social Security, or why our electricity is 30% higher. But then they want to take away our gas stoves and gasoline-driven cars and force us to have all electric. And of course, the electricity is not going to stay even, at a 30% increase over what it was back in 2020. The economy itself is enough to kill us all. Now, this has to stop. And putting her in office is not going to stop it. So leave me your comments in the comment section below. And I'd like to hear what you got out of her appearance that she finally graced us with. I'll talk to you soon.
It's a good world.